it's Jen. This is another episode of Reframing Me, and I'm your host, Dr. Jennifer Brubaker. So you will not even believe this. I am on campus at work, at my office, actually recording this. This is so exciting. But I'm not here to actually do work. I am on campus because I'm here for freshman orientation with my son because he is going to UNCW, my university, for college starting in the fall. So I'm here for orientation with him, and we just happened to finish up some sessions, and he's still going. So I thought, you know what? I think I should actually go to my office and do some work. How exciting. So anyways, it is summer. It is about a week into, I guess about a week and a half now into summer break. And I feel like we're starting to finally relax into a bit of a routine, which is always nice. We finally went berry picking last week, which to me kind of always signifies a start of summer. I mean, mind you, it took like at least 2 months to actually make that happen. So for context, okay. Every year since the kids were tiny, we go berry picking at a local farm. And, strawberry season always kind of signifies the, spring, summer is about to be here. And then blueberry season is like, hey, summer's here. And then they used to have blackberries, and blackberries were like, it is totally height of summer at this point. And honestly, blackberry season would make me a little bit nervous because I started to get that panicky, oh my gosh, is summer going so fast? Am I enjoying it enough? Are we doing it enough? That kind of panic that I'm sure we'll talk about come midsummer. Around 4th of July-ish is usually a good time for me to panic. But with the kids' schedules being so crazy, we haven't had a chance to go. Even though I started like day one of strawberry season. And honestly, it was probably like T-minus 2 days before strawberry season or whenever they started posting on their socials about strawberry season. And last week realized, hey, the season ends this week. And no, not strawberry season ends this week, like the season. Strawberries long over and gone. And now blueberries were wrapping up. And yet we still had not gone. So I told them that come hell or high water, Thursday, that was it. We were going. I didn't care who else was around because now that football season, of course, is in full swing. There's always a bunch of people around. I said, I don't care who else is here, but we are going to pick berries. So we did. All right. The kids, me, a few of their friends who happened to be there. I told them that I just needed them to give me like 30 minutes, a few smiles for pictures, and I would reward them all with ice cream, and we would check that box. Mom would be happy. And so we did it. It was fun, and now it officially feels like summer. And I know it probably seems silly how important it was for me to get there, but you know what? They didn't complain, not even for a second. They had fun. I guess they knew they might as well have fun because it was a non-negotiable. I don't have a ton of those non-negotiables. So for the ones that I do have, my kids are really easy about it. And I know that when I tell people that we go and do things like that, I always get, oh, that's so cute that they will do that with you, or that they still like to do that. Or to people who have teens of their own, I often get more, I wish mine would do things like that, or mine would never go for set. Or like on Saturday, we spent the day going up to Raleigh, which is like 2 hours for my niece's dance recital. And I would hazard a guess that my children were the only teenagers there. And I am sure that they were the only teenagers who came from 2 hours away to be there. And even more importantly, they were absolutely, for sure, the only teenagers who came from hours away to be there and did it without a single complaint. Y'all, my husband complained much more than my kids did. So what's my secret, people ask? I mean, it's not really a secret at all. I tell y'all this all the time. I pick my battles. So that is what I decided we should have a conversation about today, because I have said those words to you many times over the last 130 whatever episodes. Pick your battles. And I often think to myself, is this the hill you want to die on? And you know what? The answer is usually no. No, it is not. And, really, it's something that I try to follow in many areas of my life, like to a broader sense. I've heard it referred to as siphoning your power. It's like we all have only so much energy, only so many fucks to give. We can't use them all up on stupid things, right? We need to ration those fucks out. Siphon your power. Pick your battles. And as parents, we know we have 100,000 issues going on at every given moment to deal with. Someone needs something. Someone is doing something. Someone wants something. Someone is mad about something. Someone is pouting about something all the damn time. And we only have so much energy and time and power. We only have so many fucks to give out, right? So we are often faced with this balancing act. It's a constant dilemma of when to care and when not to, when to assert ourselves and when not to, when to fight it and when to choose our battles, how to siphon our power or how to ration our fucks. So, siphoning our power in the context of parenting teenagers involves us being strategic and intentional in how we assert ourselves with our kids to establish rules and set boundaries. Now, let's take a step back in time. Like, God, nearly 2 years ago now? But in one of our very, very early episodes, we talked about rules in our families. Now, of course, that episode is absolutely worth going back to, although I was quite new and inexperienced at this podcasting thing, so I cannot promise anything on how I sound. But when we think about rules with our teens, we think about things like do your jobs before you go out with your friends, or be home by midnight, or like leave something or somewhere as you found it, or, doors stay open when people are here, or whatever rules it is that you might have in your families. But rules go a lot farther than those specifics. We define rules as relationship agreements. And these rules then establish boundaries to maintain our roles. They are guidelines that our family members are expected to follow. Yes, like doors stay open, or no phones at dinner, or curfew times. But rules are also established through redundancies and patterns of behavior. Because as we've said many times, families are systems, and systems require a certain degree of predictability in order to survive. I mean, just imagine if every day in your family you had to constantly renegotiate your relationships and establish your expectations for each other. I mean, that would leave very little energy for anything else, right? And so to keep us from needing to do that and to keep our families predictable, we have rules that guide our behavior and provide a framework for our family's functioning. They provide a predictability that we are all comfortable with in our system. And so when I say siphoning our power in our families and with our teens, I mean using your influence and your control thoughtfully and judiciously rather than just exerting power in like a heavy-handed or overbearing manner. So essentially, picking your battles. By siphoning your power, you are maintaining a sense of authority and a sense of respect while still allowing your teenager some space to be able to express themselves and their autonomy and their individuality. If you are heavy-handed everywhere, and if you leave no room for their choices and their freedoms, you're not only going to exhaust yourself, but you also give them so little room with their choices and with their individuality and really with their decision making, which is why teens often push back against their parents. So when it comes to family communication, siphoning your power means choosing your words and your actions carefully to convey your expectations and your values without resorting to authoritarian tactics. So I didn't come down heavy-handed, and I didn't demand that they miss some event to go berry picking with me right then. Would I rather have gone strawberry picking? Yes, I would have. I like their strawberries. Did I wish we had gone when there weren't only the most sad and the most pathetic tiny blueberries that were left on the bushes because literally no one else wanted to pick them, and it was only 2 days before the entire farm closed? Yeah, totally. And would I have preferred it to be just my little group? Yeah, I would have. Absolutely. I love their friends. But of course, I would totally cocoon up just us forever if that was plausible. But I know and I accept that things change. I know priorities change, and berry picking may still be a high priority for me, but that doesn't mean it is for them anymore. And so I didn't push until it was absolutely necessary or we would miss it entirely. And even then, I didn't force them to cancel their day. I simply invited their friends along. I still got a version of what I wanted, and I know it was a happier version than if I had dragged them at another point or in a place of something else. It was a brief field trip. Everyone had fun. Everyone got ice cream. I got pictures, box checked, no battle, lots of smiles. Along the same lines, when they have friends over virtually every day, I welcome them. I make more smoothies and more protein shakes than I can count. I wash more loads of laundry and swimsuits and towels and dishes and buy more cases of Gatorades and boxes of snacks from Costco than I would have imagined even possible 20 years ago. I let people come over and I let them stay over and help themselves to whatever they want. Now, I will be 100% honest with you and say, though, that I am an introvert. I'm one of those introvert, extrovert people that they talk about. Like, I can totally play the extrovert game, but I need recovery. I need my space. I need downtime off from people because innately I am not social. So having a house full of people around was a bit of a challenge for me to overcome at first. But I do love being the house where everyone hangs out. So you can't have it both ways, right? So I choose to figure out other ways to manage my introversion. I siphoned my power. I picked my battle. So then when we do have family events or things like an 8-year-old's dance recital come up, there's no question. It's just more of a, hey, don't forget when you're making plans that next Saturday is Nora's dance recital, so plan accordingly. Period. No issues. No whining, no complaining. I've given them countless hours of friend and downtime latitude. So when I ask for something in return, like family stuff, they're good with it. It's like asking them to do things around the house, cleaning stuff up or putting things away, or I need you to pick up your sister or run an errand for me or whatever. I'm not on them day in and day out. I'm not nagging them every day to clean up or to make their beds. I realize that it's me. I don't want to play towel on the floor police. I don't want to be the authoritarian, clean up everything or you can't go out. I don't want to punish if something doesn't get done. Realistically, it's probably something that doesn't even need to be done. Doesn't need to be done right then, at least. Maybe I just want it done. It's just not worth it to me, though, to fight it when I'm really the only one who cares. So if and when I do tell them to clean up, they do it without any kind of issue. And if I want them to do something that they don't want to do, or I think that something is important, like writing thank you cards, and they're like, ugh, but mom, it's 2024, not the 1900s. Or my daughter comes down in an outfit that even crosses my lines of appropriateness, which I brush with a pretty broad stroke on that one. Instead of issuing commands or ultimatums, I try to use open ended questions and I do the active listening that we have talked about so many times, which of course includes listening to them with empathy, because that's how I want them to listen to me and to others. I try to understand where they're coming from. I try to hear why something is important to them or why something isn't important to them. And I explain my perspective to them. So, like fostering healthy and open and constructive dialogue until we get like a mutual understanding. Crazy, right? And to me, picking your battles, it recognizes that not every issue or every disagreement is worth engaging in a power struggle. It means prioritizing what truly matters, letting go of those minor conflicts or disagreements that are just not worth escalating, giving them enough space so that when I do take, it's like, okay, this must be important. So let's go back to clothes for a minute, because I just yesterday and then today, I have been reading posts in Facebook groups that are just bonkers. Okay. These threads about, quote, skimpy swimsuits and, quote, modesty, because, it's June. So 'tis the season for cover up your bodies, right? Those discussions. And I do get it. I get modesty, yes. And some of it, I guess, is just me and my overall opinion that it's just a body. And then, of course, that's coupled with the fact that we live at the beach. So we are in swimsuits for the great majority of like 3 months here. And I said coupled, right? How about tripled? Is tripled a thing, or sprinkled with? But we could probably sprinkle that with a hefty dose of wanting my daughter. Well, I want my kids, but girls, I feel especially are the topic of this discourse. But it's sprinkled with wanting them to feel confident in their bodies and to realize that it's not their responsibility to manage what other people think or feel about their bodies. But anyways, that could be a whole conversation on its own. So I will not digress here. But as an example, I do grant my daughter a lot of latitude and freedom in choosing her clothes. Now, does she choose shorts that are quite short? Is the sky blue? Does she choose tops that don't hide what her mama gave her? Well, I mean, really, I'm not sure that her mom gave her more than the genes, because my Midwestern Polish Bushka genetics may have ultimately given it to her, but those genes totally passed by me. Anyway, I am digressing. It's been a long couple of days, but I do grant her liberties with her clothing choices because, yes, I want her to be confident in her skin, but also, because B, this is not a battle that I want to fight all the damn time. And when I do then end up commenting on her choice of clothes, or I do tell her to change, or really when I establish an entirely different and completely unrelated to clothes boundary, it is clear that, you know what? I give you latitude where I can, but this is a battle that I am willing to pick. And so when I focus on the most important issues and the issues that do have long-term consequences, it's like I can avoid unnecessary conflict there. And y'all, I want to enjoy my children, and I don't want to fight over, and I don't want to control every damn thing. Parenting is hard. I think we have established that, right? And parenting teens is so very hard, just in and of itself, right? And so when it comes to all of the day-to-day, all of the little things, girl, you just got to pick your hard, prioritize, Is this the hill you want to die on? So, in our families, picking your battles requires discernment and perspective. We really need to assess the significance of each situation. We need to consider all of the stuff, the safety and values and developmental stages and all of it. And then we can decide if we actually need to address it or just let that shit go, like Elsa told us. So if then we choose to only engage in battles that are meaningful and are impactful, it lets us instead allocate our very limited energy and resources much more effectively. And you know what? It also helps us to foster a positive and a respectful environment for communication with them and to help their growth, which is totally a side benefit, right? Oh, and siphoning your power, it also empowers your teens to make decisions and to take responsibility for their actions. And I know we are all trying to help them do this, right? By giving them a sense of agency and autonomy, we actually foster their independence and their self-confidence, which is like the total cherry on top, right? And listening to them and including them in discussions, it validates them. It validates their thoughts and their feelings. And we create that safe and that non-judgmental space that we talk about and that space that allows them to express themselves. We have said in multiple conversations that this strengthens our bond and it builds trust with them. An open communication style helps teenagers feel heard and understood. And just overall, it leads to healthier relationships and smoother conflict resolution within our families. Now, I'm definitely not going to tell you that this is always an easy road, or that it's a one-size-fits-all approach because, like everything else of parenting and family communication and social sciences in general, it all depends. It depends on you. It depends on your teens. It depends on your family. It depends on everything. My battles worth picking may be different than your battles worth picking, and yours are going to all be different from each other. We're just all different. Our families are different. But what is the same is that we all have limited energy and we all want happy and harmonious homes. And so if we are going to have those happy and harmonious homes, we must prioritize where that limited energy goes. We need to siphon our power and direct it towards what is actually important. And everything is not important. In fact, I would hazard a guess that in the grand scheme of things, so very many things that we even think are important, you know what? They're not. And at the same time, I think we also tend to miss out on fully enjoying and focusing on and noticing things that really are important because we are spread so thin. Why are we spread so thin, Jen? Well, because our attention and our energy and our fucks are so scattered around. So yes, in parenting, in family communication, and really in life, we need to siphon our power. We need to pick our battles. We need to choose our hard. We can approach our communication and our responsibilities. We can approach life with intention and empathy and strategic thinking. If we can do this, we can, and our relationships can, we can all grow and thrive, and most importantly, be peaceful. You all know now that I love to talk about and I love to include anywhere I can the law of attraction and the law of resonance and manifestation. I like to talk as much as I possibly can because, y'all, I believe in these principles so very much. And I believe in them because I see them. I see them in action in my own life. I see them in action in other people's lives. And I'm not going to lie, I watch them. helplessly at times in others' lives. Like attracts like. We attract what we are into our lives. We create our realities. What we focus on is what we see. What we focus on is what we attract, what we create, and who we are. Our lives and our relationships are reflections of us and all of the choices that we make and all of the energy that we put out there. And by being intentional and by being discerning and focused on how and where we are directing our energy, we can manifest the life and the relationships that we want. We manifest our reality. Parenting is hard. Relationships are hard. So prioritize your hard. What is worth your energy and what isn't? What needs authority and needs conflict? And what needs active listening and empathy and critical thinking and empowerment? Our energy and our power is limited. We only have so many of those fucks to give. Ration them out. Siphon your power, pick your battles, and choose them wisely. Thank you so much for listening today and always. I am so grateful that you are on this journey with me. If you have enjoyed the show or this episode or the whole show or me in general, please do share it with your friends. That's how we will grow our community. Find me on socials. I'm at Reframing Me everywhere. And until next time, be well and communicate.